Welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Look at me doing well. Mike, you can't be mad at me this time. I came on time. Look at me. Came on time, 7 p.m. Didn't push anything back whatsoever. But I was jumping through some hoops. But I was able to. I actually ate dinner before I came on too. So for some reason, I got my stuff squared away today. Not the norm, but I did. So I'm very proud that I'm here on time. Happy that you guys are joining me. And one of the issues that I had is I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do the show on. I was kind of torn here or there and where I should go. So I did a bit late. I know you guys are probably noticing a lot of my shows are kind of going a bit late, starting a bit later. Are being put out a little bit later than it used to be because I'm trying to be as topical as I can be where it also makes sense. And then I have something interesting to say. I don't just want to report the news. You can just do that on your own. You don't need me for that. I hope that I can give you something interesting or special, something like that, and maybe even link some things together, or of course, give you some kind of insider information if that's possible. And the thing I wanted to bring up today was a bigger issue from one thing, but a big thing too, and that is the killing of Brian Thompson, who is the CEO of a former CEO, obviously, of United Healthcare. And why does that matter so much? People die every day. True. People are murdered every day. True. Why is this guy special? Right? Why is this guy special? Well, I think he's special for two reasons. Reason number one, so many people are not only not caring, but are actually happy or gleeful about it. And that's not normal, right? Most of the time when we hear about someone being killed, we are sad or feel bad for the family. Even don't care about the guy, we might care about his family or something, right? So someone is harmed, killed, whatever. We tend to care. Most of us have some empathy. We go, oh, I wish, I feel bad for his, thoughts and prayers or something. Most of us do. I mean, some of us are monsters and don't care at all, obviously, but most of us are not. With that in mind, there are a lot of people who were like, good. He was a bad guy because of what he did. And not he was a bad guy like he, murdered people or something like that. But the fact that the healthcare system in America is so bad that it actually harms people. I'm not going to say that's incorrect. That's correct, which is why I want to change it too. But I don't think it's just that. I'm kind of moving around because I think it's a bigger issue here. Guy gets killed, clearly gets killed because of who he is, right? This is targeted. It's not like he's like, I want to rob some guy. Didn't even rob him. Killed him, walked off, and made sure he was gone, like more than one round. Made sure this guy was gone and walked off. This was obviously a targeted killing. Clearly, obviously, no matter what the reason might be, that's clearly what it was. The guy knew who he was. So yes, clearly done. And there was obviously for those who know, there was some inscriptions on the shell casings, 3 of them, which is one reason why he fired 3 rounds. So he knew he was going to fire 3 rounds. And they they allude to a book that's about how bad the healthcare industry is. The 3 words, I forgot what they were, like deny something or other, 3 words. Someone I'm sure will let me know what they are. But either way, they allude directly to a book that is about how bad the health system is. So I do think this is specific to this person, right? Clearly. And he was the one who's in charge of a lot of people going bankrupt, people, losing their lives, people die. Of course, absolutely. But it isn't just that. This is part of an entire anti-establishment piece. Human fly, thank you, my friend. Deny, defend, depose. Those are the 3 words. Thank you. I knew somebody would know that. My chat is brilliant, and you've proven it yet again. Yes, and that was on 3 of the shell casings. They were inscribed in the shell casings, those 3. So the guy, he planned to do that. Like he knew, I'm going to put 3 bullets in this guy, no matter what, so that these can be there. That was his calling card, right? Like some supervillain. Right? Some supervillain like that, right? And that's what he did. So I do get that this is a terrible thing, of course. But there is not only a gleefulness, and this is the other part, right? I get why some people would be happy about this, but even okay, I'm going to try to make this as clear as I can right now. I know I'm kind of all over the place because I'm kind of bothered by this part. Even the people who are angry and happy and think this was just, there isn't an equal and opposite piece of people going, what's wrong with you? This was a murder. No. The vast majority of Americans just don't care at all. They're not mad at him. They don't know who this guy is. They don't get it. As a general, most Americans are like, yeah, and okay, I guess you'll find. They still don't have a lead in this guy. They don't have a lead in this guy, which means if this guy was alone, maybe, I don't know if he was, but most of them aren't. So there are other people involved. Yeah, like I'm not saying nothing. Don't care if the cops come saying nothing. And the people around aren't saying anything. They still don't have, still don't have this guy. This is NYPD. Now you might go, is NYPD that good? When it comes to finding murderers of wealthy people, yes. Yeah, the average Joe Schmo, maybe not so much. But wealthy people, yes. Oh my God, you can get two things that they will find: a cop killer and a wealthy person killer. NYPD will find you if at all possible. They will drop everything to find you. You can guarantee that. And they haven't. Wow. I'm just saying, wow. That piece is very interesting, right? That piece is very interesting. And I think when you look at them on people who just don't care, and then even mainstream people who are just like, yeah, whatever. So he's gone. So what? Whatever the case may be, whatever. It's surprising to me. Now, it's not surprising that there are people who would think, great, glad he's gone. That's not surprising to me. What's surprising is the opposite not existing or not being powerful. One would have thought you'd be a bunch of people going, oh my God, this is terrible. I have seen at least 6 different people who are pundits or news people online say something like, yeah, it's terrible, but. Is that what they say about other people? No, it's terrible. Oh my God, horrible. This, I heard a whole lot of, it's terrible, but. Now, what's the but part? But he's a bad guy? No, I don't think so. I think that's too short-sighted. I think it's no. But we are so unhappy with anything establishment that if we think it's establishment, I think in general, we don't care. I feel like in general, we just like, good, it goes away. This goes back to, oh my God, we're going to put RFK Jr. in and he's going to blow everything up. I don't care. And I'm going to put Vivek in and Vivek's going to get rid of the Department of Education. Okay, let it go. Like, I don't care. Let it go. I don't care. This guy gets killed. You guys killed. What are you going to do? Another rich guy gets killed. So what? Oh, whatever. Can I get some health care? Can I get some insurance? Can I have a decent job? Can I find can I pay my rent? Can I pay my bills? Can I do that? That's fine. So I care about. I'm too busy and too angry at the current system now that I can't get what I need to survive, what I feel is appropriate for my lifestyle. I can't feel that. So I don't care about these establishment people who are doing fine and making 7 figures every year. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. I don't care. I think a lot of people going down that road. And why does that matter? Because then the people who want to do the bad things are going to take advantage of that. And I would ask myself this, assuming they catch this guy, what if you actually had a fair judge? I mean, you don't, but assuming for the sake of argument, you have a fair judge. And the judge would just say, guys, here's just do your defense, do whatever you want, go do that. There's a chance that guy could walk. I wouldn't have said that 10 years ago. I would say it now. There's a chance that that guy could come in, admit to doing it. Just say, yep, it was me. I did it, but say not guilty. Either because I was distraught, crazy, right? Because my mom died or whatever is the issue, right? Personal issue he has. Or I did it, but he deserved it because this, whatever. And there's enough jurors who might go, yeah. Like my mind says that might happen. I mean, 10 years ago, never. It still won't happen. For those who don't know, the reason why that won't happen is it's New York. And it's other places too, but it's heavily in New York. In New York, what happens, some of you don't know this, in criminal court, You don't get to defend yourself how you see fit. That's not how that works. I know somebody like, what do you mean? You don't just get to go, well, we're going to do this. That's TV stuff. What happens is the judge decides if you can defend yourself a certain way. I'm not joking. So you could go, hey, judge, we're going to go with an insanity plea. Judge will go, nah, you can't. Just because the judge says that. So you cannot go with that defense because the judge says so. That's how it actually works. You're like, wait a minute, no, Larry, I'm gonna go with that plea. Judge goes, no, you can't. Why? Because I'm the judge and I want to make sure this guy gets convicted. So no. Well, then we're gonna go with it's circumstance. No. You got to go. He didn't do it, but he did it. Well, then I guess he's going to jail. Then that's what a judge will do. So the guy's going away because they'll just do that. That's what they just do. Judges will just decide what they want to decide whenever they want to. He's wealthy, so that's going to happen. He's in there, a judge of the whole establishment, so that's going to happen. But the concept is that I think that wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. That's where I'm going to. And I'm going to take this to another space. It's off topic, but on topic. 3 things happened in the last couple of months. 2 very recently. Governments basically fell. The German government, the French government, and the South Korean government. Where's everybody sworn about that? Are we outside worried and concerned and scared? No. Some people talk about it, but hardly ever. We like whatevs. Okay. It's like, are we just becoming numb to all of this? And look, I'm talking about it, right? But I mean, most people aren't, right? You get a 5-minute segment here and next, move on next. 5-minute segment here, move on next. And people aren't scared. Like, whatever, whatever. Crazy. I feel like so many people are just looking at, can I get what I need here? That is my worry. Let me grab a couple comments that people are popping up here. But Joe says, maybe the police are not going to look too hard for this guy. Why do you say that, Joe? I feel the opposite, right? The cops are going to do what their DA, right? Generally speaking, what people think that the police chief is like the guy who runs the cops, and he does. But cops respond far more to a DA than they respond to a police chief. Why? The DA decides what gets prosecuted. The DA doesn't prosecute things. Cops don't arrest those things, right? The DA goes, I'm not going to prosecute any of this. Cops stop arresting for that. Why? You're not going to prosecute it. So cops are heavily affected by DAs. And then we'll get mad at cops all the time. But cops are part of a system. You get a crappy system, you get crappy outcomes. Better system, better outcomes. So I do think that the cops will respond to what the DA is going to pressure them to. And I feel like this DA is going to push. I think because the person's wealthy. And that's what matters in politics. Just being honest is what I think. Maybe you're right, right? Joe, maybe you're right, but I don't see it. I think they keep going. That's just me. So Jennifer is upset. Thank you for being a member, Jennifer. She goes, you can deny health care and people die. Yes. She then goes on to say, if I'm murdered, no one cares. Sorry. This is the part. See, Jennifer's on my side. She says they'll look hard because the guy was rich. I'm with you. I think they will look hard. You and I may not care, Jennifer, but we're not a DA. We're not getting elected. We don't need to raise money, right? So it doesn't matter to us. So we don't care. But DA cares. Mayor cares, right? These guys are all donors, right? So they care. So he's rich. Yes, I think they'll look hard. I don't think no one will care if you die, Jennifer. I don't think no one will care if I die. But relative to him, yes, right? Relative. You're right. Relative. That's the piece that gets me upset. So he didn't personally deny healthcare to be forward. It wasn't him personally, but he was responsible for it, right? That's the issue. He was directly responsible for it, right? And that's the issue. If I remember right, there's some hold on, let me see. I think I saw a comment here about, there we go. The AC, he was here. No, this guy specifically put in an AI algorithm that made it so United Healthcare denies 30% of claims as opposed to the industry average of 16. Bad guy. Yeah, and if I remember right, there was some crazy number like 80% or something like that, like was initially, pushed back. So you had to always go back and do it again or something like that. If there was some crazy number like that, I made that number, I don't know if it was 80%, but it was some high percentage that would immediately be kicked back. So if you didn't have the persistence and or an expediter, we've heard that word before, that who would then, put it back in again, it would automatically be kicked out. So it was was it 80%? Some percentage where they would just automatically kick it out. The AI would go, if it wasn't perfect, gone. And if you don't kick it back, you're just screwed. And that, of course, is more time. Well, you got bills to pay today. It wants to wait 3 weeks. And then you kick it back 3 more weeks. Well, your bills are now a month late. Now your credit's being worried about. Now people are calling you. Now you're getting fines and fees. So I'm with you. Bad guy. But again, he's not the only guy who made a decision. He's got a whole C-suite of people. They could have said no. They could have fought him. They could have pushed back. He's got board members. They could have told him no. Now, the C-suite maybe couldn't tell him no, but could have pushed back. The board members could have told him no. We're the board. No, you do this. We're removing you as CEO. You cannot do this. So there were other people, AC. I'm not taking his responsibility away. I'm adding more responsibility. There's a board that could have stopped that and chose not to, or ignored it, or encouraged it. Who knows? It might have been their idea. So I don't know. But they had the option to stop him. His C-suite had the option. Those of you know what C-suite is, it's all the C-level. Chief marketing officer, chief financial officer, chief technical officer, CEO, chief executive officer, whatever, COO, chief operating officer. His C-suite also could have pushed back. Maybe they couldn't stop him. He's the CEO. They could have pushed back. I don't remember hearing any of that. You would think at least one of them would be on TV screaming about that right now. If they had done it, they didn't. And the board could have stopped him. Literally, the board has the power to stop him. They could have done so if they wanted to step in. Did they? No. I would bet they encouraged it, AC. So I'm adding on to this. He's responsible, as is his C-suite and his board. Both, all of them, they all bear responsibility. Look, unless it comes out later that a couple of them resigned or fought back, but what are the odds of that? Maybe. I'll leave it open. Perhaps there was one board member who fought back hard, or maybe there was one C-suite guy who resigned. That does happen, but I'm not waiting for that. I'm not waiting for that. I think there's more people to blame than just him. Okay, I want to be clear for the YouTube people. I'm not naming them or doxing them. YouTube. I'm just saying a lot of responsibility. Get myself in trouble. You guys are going to get me. See, AC, you're going to get me. You won't get me canceled. See that? Jacob, thank you for being a member, my friend. I appreciate it. Every little bit counts. Membership is awesome. Guys, speaking of that, if you like what I'm talking about, and I have a bit more I got to say on this, obviously, but click the button. You know what that button is. It's the one that has LIKE on it or has that thumbs up thing. Click that damn thing. Why are you clicking it? Click it now. It's free. Just do it, please. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, share this into something. Share it into a Facebook group. Share it on Rumble. Share it on YouTube. Share it. I don't care where you share it. Share it on Twitter. Retweet it. All good. I'm sorry. Repost it. Re-exit. Whatever you do with it. Yeah. Re-something it. If you have not subscribed, please check. YouTube does unsubscribe you. Please subscribe. If you watch me on Facebook, please follow me on Facebook. Please follow me on YouTube. It all matters. Super chats are always awesome. If you want to get that right to the front, pop it right up there. Super chat goes to the front. And of course, membership does matter. And thank you again, Jacob, for becoming a member. $5 a month keeps this going, keeps me going. I have done now, 7 shows in a row, 6 days, 7 shows. We're still going. I will be doing tomorrow, and I'll try to do one on Saturday. I will be traveling. By the way, I will be traveling on Saturday. For those who don't know, I will be traveling on Saturday. I'll be doing a full Sharpe, as I call it, my 7th one. For those of you who are in New York State or nearby, this Saturday at 5 p.m., I'll be at the Cortland Diner in Cortland. This Sunday at 9 a.m., I'll be at Ray's Restaurant in Canandaigua. And this Sunday at noon, I'll be at Veneto Pizza and Pasta in Rochester. And this Sunday at 4, I'll be at Il Eagle Tap House in Elmira, New York. So yes, I don't always pick the biggest cities. I pick them sometimes, Rochester, big city. But I also pick smaller places too. I go all around the state, and every single time you will see me, it is at an individual family or individual owned restaurant or facility. I don't always go to restaurants. I may go to a gun shop. I may go to a vape shop. I may go to any place, smoke shop, doesn't matter. I'll go any place where someone is just owning something and they're happy to have me at their spot. And when you come see me, just come chat, come talk. Happy to have you. As always, I ask you, You don't have to pay. It's free to come to any of my events unless it's specifically a fundraiser, in which case you will know way in advance that it is a fundraiser and you have to pay money. These are not fundraisers. These are just come see me, meet and greets. I do ask that when you go to any of these places, please buy something to support the local business owner. If you're not in a good spot, buy a soda, buy a cup of coffee, not a good spot. If you're in a good spot, please buy a meal. If you're in a great spot, bring your friends and buy a couple of meals, right? Wherever you are financially, if you're going to go there, please support the local business owner and at least buy a drink, depending upon where you are financially. So I appreciate that. If you have a moment and you can stop by New York, please do so. So anyway, I hope that was interesting for those of you who are in New York State and may want to come see me. And I'll be bringing my daughter. So if you want to meet my daughter, she'll be there too. We'll be going together. It's a family thing. Isn't that great? Love it. There we go. All righty. Let me go down a couple of these. I know you guys have a couple of questions. Vivek says, I think so. Trump 2.0 can't be like 1.0, which was just hate and revenge against establishment. If Doge and Maha make substantial progress, then the hate will stop. I hope you're right, Vivek. But to be forward, I'm not sure. I think there is still anger against establishment, even within Trump world. I think there'll be more when as the establishment fights back even more. Right? The establishment, we see it already. The establishment is not just laying down. Right? The establishment is fighting Trump back, trying to push him back to the best of their ability. They are pushing back. They aren't just laying down. At one point, you get upset. At one point, you go, I'm getting tired of this. And you start wanting to put the hammer down. So, Vivek, I hope you're correct. I'm not sure. I could definitely see Trump world going, I'm tired of this. Okay, we're trashing people. You probably heard this already. And all right, for those of you who haven't heard this, there's now rumors out there that Biden is going to do a whole bunch of additional pardons. Why? Because of what you said, Vivek, may not be true. They're worried Trump is going to get pissed off. And not even Trump. Trump may not be pissed off. Remember, he has a bunch of people who are fighting through this. Right? Remember what they did to Kavanaugh? When Kavanaugh was being nominated? Kavanaugh was pissed off. He was pissed. Like he was physically, visibly pissed off. He wanted a little bit of revenge. Yeah, he did. I'm just saying. Okay, so let's say Trump's like, I don't care. I got to go, whatever, South Middle East, whatever he's going to go do, right? He doesn't care. He's got a dozen people who run things who may be really mad, Vivek, who are like, oh, Trump's over in Ukraine? Okay, I'm here by myself. Punishment time. You think I may be joking, but politics can be very petty. So maybe, but then maybe, no, let's stop punishing people. You got an AG who may be upset and decides, oh, okay, I'm going to put some people on trial. I don't like how you dealt with. Remember, Trump's AG was his lawyer when the Justice Department was attacking him. You think she's not mad at a couple ADs, couple attorneys? She's not mad at a couple DAs? She's not mad at a couple of them? So maybe you're right. I think the hate could keep going. I think it could. I think Doge and Maha have to be magical to end the hate. And don't get me wrong. Would I love that? Yes, I would love that. I hope you are right, Vivek. I do. I hope you're correct. And with the other piece, right? How do you stop the hate when people just don't care? So, yeah. That liberty says, don't forget to follow Larry over on Rumble. Yes, I am also on Rumble right now. Yes. Mike Voss in the house. He says, it's disturbing that so many cheer cold-blooded murder because of a policy they don't like, which is consequences of electing ideologies that made laws and rules possible. But that's not how they're seeing it, Mike. How someone sees this, and I get it, right? Because I've watched the system screw lots of people over. I'm angry. And I've watched you. I mean, every other show I'm taking a steaming dump on New York State judges, right? Every other show I am. They've made me so angry. I'm so disappointed, right? If I ever become governor, am I going to punish them? Yes. Oh, yes. you can guarantee someone getting punished. I don't care if you tell people that. I will say that during my campaign. Yes. Oh, yes, there will be a reckoning. 100%. New York, if I become governor, New York State judges are getting a Yelp review on all of them, whether they like it or not. They will have to impeach me, and I will run on that. So I don't mind saying it. I will run on that. They will get a Yelp review style, not actually Yelp, but a Yelp style review. All judges will. They will all be held accountable. Every one of them. If they want to impeach me, they can impeach me. They're getting it. That's happening. There will be a reckoning. Yes. I will be honest, but I will be ruthless. That is happening. So why would I do that? Why? Because I don't like policies they put in? No, because New York State judges have been wrecking people's lives for decades, destroying them in family courts, crushing them with laws that they should have overturned decades ago, abandoning their responsibility to the Constitution for decades. And those who are good will get good Yelp reviews. It's fine. Don't worry about it. They'll be fine. But those who are pieces of garbage will be embarrassed as they should be. So, yes, that's policies that we've been voting for. We vote for those judges, so that's true. But the system allows the judges to be horrible. There's no realistic way to stop it. I know I've run for office and tried to change laws. I can't. Physically, I failed. I raised $500,000 twice trying to change laws. Couldn't do it either time. I don't know who else can if I can't. So can't be done. So when you have a guy who's in a system of insurance, and you're right, I don't like our insurance style. I think it's garbage. I think it's terrible. I do not think that Medicare for all is the answer, but I understand why people would want that. Again, because our current system is garbage. So what happens when it's your mom, your sister, your friend, your significant other, your child, your niece, someone that you love in your life? And this company goes, oh, no, we're not paying. But I've been paying my insurance. But I stuck at this crappy job I hate because I had coverage. I hate this job. I'm punishing myself because I got coverage because my mom's on my coverage and she got heart problems. So I'm going to be on this, keep this damn job I hate because that's the only way I can get some decent goddamn coverage. And now what happens? You can tell me no. And now I'm in more debt than I've ever been in. And now I got to stay in this crappy job even longer. After mom's dead, I still got to stay in this job. I get why somebody gets mad and wants to do something. Not saying it's the right answer. I want to be very clear. I am not saying it's the right answer. I'm saying I understand why somebody will be upset about that. That's what I will say. I get that. But at the same time, while I could understand why somebody would be upset and want to do that, should I be clapping hands and cheering? I should be like, damn, would I be clapping hands and cheering? Kintsugi says that is not normal. Agreed, Kintsugi. I'm with you. That is not normal. Agreed. And that's why I'm saying we have a problem, because now people will take advantage of this. That's my issue. Particularly if that gets away with it. I mean, the surveillance state that New York City has, right? Oh my God. New York City is a communist, not communist, is the wrong word, authoritarian. It's an authoritarian state. It is a police state. So, I mean, I could get away. I mean, look, the reality of it is most people who commit crimes aren't thinking. It's the crimes of passion. They're just go get a guy and run. This guy was thinking. So is it possible that he was so savvy and so smart that he got away with it? I mean, crazy stuff happens, but no, I don't think so. I would bet on them getting him. I can't imagine this guy was that savvy that he's able to get around everything and escape, and he'll be not found. Maybe, right? Crazy stuff happens. I'm not betting on that. I think they're going to catch him. And when they catch him, is he going to be like, are we going to forget about it when the trial's a year from now? Right? The trial's not going to be tomorrow. Trial's a year from now. We're going to be like, whatever the next thing is, the mayoral race or something like that. Is that going to happen? Maybe. Peace. Thank you for the $5. We hate the establishment too. I can't say the words. Your title's explained. Commuting in late. Yes, that's the issue. I think maybe you and I wouldn't, right? But clearly somebody would. And clearly others are happy about it, cheering him on. And others are like, Whatevs, move on. I think we're supposed to be upset. Sarah says, idea. We have less than 2 years to get Larry elected. Everyone get a big jar and put a handful of cash in it every day for Larry. Coffee, dollars, cents, dollar bills. Yay. I love that. Good idea. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. Yes. But again, I have not officially said I would run because then I would have a problem and I couldn't talk to PACs. So I'm not saying I'm officially running. I am considering it. That is very true. But I'm not officially, if anyone's listening, I'm not officially said that I'm running. I've said I'm considering it. I just happen to be wearing a shirt that says Larry Sharpe. But I'm just saying I have not said that I'm doing so. I just happen to like this hoodie that I have. That's all. A man can like a hoodie, right? A man can like a hoodie. Hoodie's nothing wrong with that, of course. So, yes. All righty. All right. Let me keep going if I could. All righty. Missy's here. Hey, Missy. Good to see you. And the whole chat. I do appreciate that. AC seems to be unhappy with this guy a lot. Let me grab a couple more things he's saying. The real piss, is that what you meant? Is that Big Pharma bought the Chamber of Commerce making them. Oh, I must have missed them. Did I miss one of those that popped by? I must have missed one of these that popped by. Okay, maybe I missed it. I missed that one. They come by so fast. There we go. All right. One of the things that the Department of Government Efficiency has in its sites is the Department of Veteran Affairs. They think it's unnecessary. I'm not sure that's true. The last time when Trump was in office, he actually made it better. Did not fix the VA. He did not fix the VA. But I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Trump did make the VA better. It was still bad in many ways. What the VA does very well, I don't want to completely dump on the VA, right? The VA does certain things very well. Number one, what it does very well is if you want to go to school. If you want to go to school, the VA is almost magical. They will literally find a way to get you into a school and to find a way to pay for it. They will find a way. If you're a vet and you want to go to school, VA got you. They got you. They're great at that. Number two, if you have some basic issues like you broke your leg or broke your arm, they're pretty good at that. Other things, not so great. Just not. It's just not so great. They aren't. So anyway, the Admiral says chum in the water. I hope that's not true. It may be true. For those who don't know, chum is when you're trying to draw in sharks. Chum is the chopped up fish and blood that you put into the water to draw the sharks in, right? So you put the chum out to draw sharks in. That's what you use it for. And he's saying, my assumption is, you're doing that to draw people in for more sharks. I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true, Admiral. I mean, it might be, but I hope it isn't. That sounds horrible to me. So let's hope that you are wrong. So let's hope you're wrong. But on our next piece, some of you talking about don't know what happened, as I brought up earlier. Not only this thing, that they haven't found him. People aren't talking. They have raised the reward now to $10,000 for any information on him. That's like when cops get shot, right? When cops are shot, they raise it automatically, right? Give us whatever you want, they raise it. It's a common thing. When that happens, right, more people want to make a phone call because you get cash if it leads to an arrest, all that kind of good stuff, right? They've raised it already because they don't have enough clues to get this guy. So he possibly gets away. I don't think so, but he might. The other issue is if he does get away or even is away for a while, is the chum the answer? Is this the spark? Is it Garrett Princep? Did I get that right? Garrett Princep, the guy from the Black Hand, which was the name of the organization in Serbia that killed Archduke Ferdinand, right? Was it Archduke Ferdinand? Yeah, right. Archduke Ferdinand. Was it right? That sparked the entire thing. That guy, I think it was Garrett Princep. I think that's his name. Serbian freedom fighter, in his words. Others would call him not that. From the organization, the Black Hand in Serbia in 1914, July, if I'm not mistaken, July 28th July something. I'm pretty sure you guys will figure it. You'll let me know. But and that's when he kills Ferdinand and Ferdinand's wife, and that triggers the entire thing. Does this guy think he's that? Does this guy think he's starting that? Maybe. Kaiwan says, I think the guy was a socialist, I guess, and he believed that the socialist idea of violence is good, or crime is good, or crime is normal, and that the narco-communist type of thing, I think that's kind of all over the place. But I think what you're saying, I think he's saying the same thing. He thinks this is appropriate. This is the way things should be, and that's how we're started. So Jacob says, my work switched insurance providers to United Healthcare just recently. I don't know if I should be concerned or not. Oh my God. Yeah. You might want to check out your stuff to make sure. So yeah. Garrett, thank you for the 10 memberships. Guys, please grab those memberships. And then 5 more memberships. Thank you so much. 15 memberships are amazing. Jump on those, guys, if you can. I'm going to be picking, it will be the 16th, by the way. We'll have another member show. 16th will be a member show. So I'll be grabbing some members for that show to come on. So grab your memberships, and I'll be posting probably by the end of this week or beginning next week to grab 3 people to jump on the show for the 16th if you can make it. So that will be there. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Garrett, for that. That's amazing. I do appreciate it tremendously. The AC, you got to say tonight. I've seen a bunch of people on the news who are rich people themselves who are going, oh my God, a rich guy got shot. The world is over. Yes, right. This is why they're bothered, right? They're bothered. They're bothered because it wasn't random rich guy shot. It was someone didn't like that rich guy and took him out. That's why they're more angry. Those guys are supposed to not, you can't do that. We're celebrities. They think they're the random rich guy. To be forward, a lot of these news people make 7 figures a year or even 8 figures a year. They make 6, 7, or 8 figures every year. Some of them make $10 million, 8 figures. Some make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, 7 figures. All of them make at least 6 figures. They all make tons of money. So they don't want to be, well, I'm this guy. You can't come shoot me because I'm special. Oh, well, maybe you can. Yeah, maybe you can. Kintsugi goes, terrible, but what? No buts, it's just terrible. Kintsugi, I'm with you. That was the part I noticed immediately. So many people said, it's terrible, but a lot. Yes. Kim says he died. His kids are the victims. Yes. Yes. Right. And usually we're talking about, so sorry for the children. Now we're like, whatever. We don't care. Your father was a bad guy. Damn. Wow. That's how bad we are now. Looking over at Rumble, Straight End says, I'm amazed he got away. Did he make himself invisible using the stuff in the backpack? According to what I saw, and I heard people talking about, this guy had a change of clothes in his backpack and had a bike ready. So I guess he jumps on his bike, drives to some place where he believes there's no cameras, and maybe he knows this. I don't know if he's savvy, right? Changes his clothes and then walks away. And then you got to find the bike and or find the clothes and or find whatever, right? You swap it out. You throw the backpack away. You throw the firearm away. How do you find him? I don't know, right? But I mean, look, again, he'd have to be really savvy, right? Have to be really savvy for that. It's possible. So, yes. Vivek says, I also hope that Kash Patel, if confirmed, does substantial reforms, doesn't just use the FBI for revenge against establishment and Trump enemies. This is a worry a lot of people have. Vivek, you hit this very well. A lot of people are worried that they want to go in for the right reasons, but will they when the time comes? There's a lot of people, I would bet that a lot of people went in to government thinking they were going to save the world. I bet a lot of them did. I don't know how many. Some just going because they're going to grift. But I bet a lot went in because they thought, oh, I'm going to save the world. And then got in there and went, wait a minute. This is fun. I want to save the world now. I just want to be a cool guy who gets all kind of money and special privileges. I'm just going to stay here now. So, look, do I think someone like Kash might want to come in and sweep things up? Yeah. Will he do it when the time comes? I don't know. I hope Vivek, I hope you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm just saying sometimes people come in with the best intentions. And what happens if they fight him? What happens if he does come in and he tries to fix things, right? My biggest worry isn't a physical, they try to arrest Cash or try to remove him through some parliamentarian system. That's not my concern. My concern is Cash says, I want X. And they go, we'll get it to you in 6 months. Oh, we're late. 9 months. Okay, sure. 12 months. Oh, you didn't want, I thought you wanted this. You wanted it that way. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, 3 more months. My worry is Stonewall, 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 right? If you saw, that's what a lot of these times did to Trump when he first came in the first time. They didn't just go, we're going to throw you out. They just stonewalled all day long. That's my worry, Vivek. And then what happens when you stonewall? Does Cash go, great, you're under arrest? That would stop the stonewalling. But then does he now just go, you know what, now is it revenge? So I'm not saying you're wrong. This is, as I know I'm a broken record here, but this is a deeply established system that is not going to go away easily. Cash is going to have to work for this. Ramaswamy is going to have to work for this. Elon's going to work. RFK is going to have to work for this. This is not a I step in and change things. That's not how it works unless all of a sudden you're prepared to start throwing people in jail. You ready for that? Then the whole world goes, see, he's as bad as Biden and he did same, there's no difference. Yeah. That's the concern. I think you're completely, that's a worry that I have. So yes. Human Fly says, I think it just shows how much people don't actually trust the government, regulations, or the justice system. These CEOs and companies making money off of misery, and the system is for them. I think the whole thing's a system now in our eyes now, right? And this is why I'm giving you something that's kind of weird. Like Mike is talking about left-leaning. I think Vivek is also talking about left-leaning. I don't think this is a left-right issue. I think it's an establishment issue. If you listen to people on the left, they're happy too. Like lots of people are happy about this, left, right, whatever. This is anti-establishment. I don't think this is a left-right issue. I mean, there are many left-right issues. I don't think this one is. If you're saying I hate Obamacare and I want, a free market system, or if you're saying I think this whole free market is terrible, I want Medicare for all. Both sides, left and right, are going, this guy's terrible. This system is terrible. This is bad. And that's left and right. Together, they're going, this is terrible. If you're much more libertarian, you're going, why are we fighting stupid wars? If you're hardcore left, why are we fighting stupid wars? It's coming together. That's anti-establishment, right? And there's two sides. So I think it is really both sides on this one. All sides, whatever. It's anti-establishment is the piece. I think that's the key more than anything in my eyes. That it's that. Adrian says, too many people are struggling to survive, have no energy to worry about the wealthy. And I think that's good and bad, Adrian. You're right. And it's good and it's bad. It's good in that, people have to get to live their life and, maybe some people have to care about something. Maybe, who knows, maybe the wealthy will realize, oh my God, I got to make some changes. Maybe. And it's bad in that what happens when they go too far? What if it actually is chum in the water? What if the admiral is correct and it is chum in the water and we don't care? Whatever. Right? Here, Kim says all insurance should be illegal. Look at that. A lot of people here would not feel that, would not agree with that, and still on the same page as her. So yeah, absolutely. So, all right, let me grab here. Jennifer says my insurance is bad, but I hate United Health is the worst. Yeah, Pinkerbell says thank you for being a member. Pinkerbell. Also, Jennifer, thank you for being a member. Like 90% of those denials were in error, but most don't appeal. Yes, thank you. That was the number. Thank you for that, Pinkerbell. It was a huge number, 90% in this case. Thank you. I remember it was a high number. That was just an error. And so people have to know to appeal. They have to get it. Well, who knows to appeal if someone's going to appeal? Well, the wealthy, because they have people who do it for them, right? You have an expediter who does it for you. That's one of the reasons why you have those, as I talk about it often, the wealthy have Cadillac plans. Cadillac plans just, you get a certain amount of percentage and your people in your world do it for you, right? Your HR does it for you. You don't do that, right? Me and you, Pinkerbell, we're stuck. If we don't do it, we're just screwed. But if you're the CEO of company XYZ, you got people who do that for you. So you get your cash. That's how that works. So yeah, so those people know, of course, they're paid to do so. And they're paid by the company, not by the individual. So I don't even pay the person myself. The company pays it for me so that I have that person. Of course, 100%. Human Fly says, UHC denied genetic testing and tumor tests to try to figure out my sister's cancer. She's dead now. I get the answer. Same thing happened to my cousin 10 years ago. My point exactly, Human Fly. I'm sorry for your loss. That's horrible. And I'm with you. I get why people will be upset. You lose someone you care about, you're ready to make something happen. And if something happens, you didn't make it happen, but it happens anyway, you're not mad. You're like, well, whatever. Shouldn't have been a terrible person. Oh, well, that's what you think. I get it, right? I get it, 100%. Adrian says, after the isolation, loss of jobs, money, community, plans for the future, all turned upside down, depression, worry, loss of hope for reaching for goals since the lockdowns. Yep, it's like a societal depression. I think you've hit something. And I don't know if you guys heard, but supposedly, this is the rumor I heard, that I forgot I saw it on a podcast. I don't remember which one, but the podcast host was saying that there was a chance that Biden was going to do a blanket pardon, just like for his son, for the one and only Fauci. Yes, him. Yes, that he was going to get a blanket pardon. I hope that's not true. That would be terrible. I know I was talking yesterday about, he should expand pardons. Not like that. Not like that. But that would do it, because I think you have a very valid point, Adrian. The lockdowns devastated this country for many reasons. But one of the most important reasons was, and this is the argument people say, well, Larry, so we're working from home and so it's more, Zoom calls. That was going to happen anyway. Accurate statement. I think it was. But it probably was going to happen over 10 or 15 years, not over one. That was a culture shock. That was a culture shock to us. Right? And with that in mind, what came next? Robots, AI. Well, that was going to happen anyway. Yes, but probably not in a year. It was going to happen slower, giving us a chance to somehow get around and deal with this and not sit at home and be like, where are my friends and family and my support structure? To your point, Adrian, what are my goals? What should I be doing? Where am I? We don't even date well anymore. All those things. I think you're correct. And people like him and others are responsible. So now they want to just do a blanket pardon. Because as Vivek is saying, it could be something horrible. So, yes, agreed. Peasing for the $5. Who are these Vanguard Boys podcast? Do you have any opinions of them? The audience grilled me, accusing me of deporting a sister. What? Vanguard Boys? You mean the Vanguard? I know those guys. I've been on their show before. Is it Vanguard Boys? Hold on. Is it Vanguard Boys or is it the Vanguard? Do you mean the young guys out of Missouri? No. Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri. That's the Vanguard. Do you mean those guys? Or do you mean something else, the Vanguard Boys? I'm not sure. Is it the Vanguard Boys? Oh, maybe. Okay. All right. Maybe the wrong one. Maybe I don't know them. I gotta go check them out. You can make me work for this one. You're gonna make me work for this one, Peace. All right, I gotta go work for it. That's fine. I have to go work for it. Yes. He means Vanguard. Oh, yes, I do know. I do know the Vanguard. Yes. I do know the Vanguard. I've been in their show more than once. I do reach out to them every once in a while. They were close, and that they still are, with Crystal Ball from, I don't know if they still are, but they were at one point. Crystal Ball from Breaking Points. So yes. If you want to, we can chat about it. If you want to, we'll chat about it. But yes, I can have a conversation about them if you want to. So, all righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I could. All right. Jennifer says, FBI took that guy and killed him in Utah and laid him out in the streets for kids to see. Talk about that happens all the time. Yes, that happens all the time. Yes. Human Fly says, apparently the gun is a rare, very quiet pistol with suppressor. He did use that. Yes, He did use a suppressor. The AC is actually not called a silencer. It's actually called a suppressor. Human flight is correct. It does not silence it. Gunshots are never silent. That's not a thing. But they are it is suppressed. It can suppress both the flash, which is important, so you're not seen as easily, and also the sound. So it suppresses both. So that's it. Yes. All righty. Let's see if I can grab here. Dave says, some are saying it was a contract killing. Then maybe, but then if it was, why do you put the 3 letters, the 3 words? Right? I'm not sure how that works. Why would you do that? Unless that's part of the contract, but then you're opening yourself. I'm not sure. I feel like that's personal. I feel like it's personal. I may not be, anyway. All righty. Shelly says, Chum also draws in flatties, fluke, and yes, it does. Yes, but it's usually made to get the sharks. But yes, you're correct. It could be for all those things. 100%. Yeah. Phil says the VA hospital should just be war-related specialists. Otherwise, it's cruel for a vet from Lake Placid to draw to Albany VA hospital, local doctor. All right. If I had to change the VA tomorrow, if I had to change tomorrow, what I would say is, without question, turn it into an insurance company, which would make Kim very angry because she hates insurance. But that's what I would say. I would say sell, and it's how you make it an insurance company. The VA owns tons of hospitals, tons of facilities. Sell off all those facilities. Sell everything. You sell it all. You have a huge chunk of literally tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions. I don't know how much they have. They have a ton of resources. Sell the land, everything. Sell everything. Sell the land, sell the buildings, sell everything. Sell the contracts. You've got contracts with betting companies, and sell everything. Take that, whatever dollars it is, that is your beginning of your insurance company. Make an insurance company. Let vets go wherever they want to go. Swipe a card, insurance. Easiest way. They can go to whatever doctor they want, swipe a card, insurance. That's it. That's what I think you do. That's how you I think that's how you fix the VA tomorrow. Sell everything. So yes. AC says, and the VA mortgage is amazing. We have to refinance my dad's for 1.8. That is good. Wow. And you get me one of those. That is good. Okay, so mortgage too, but you don't have to get it from the VA. You can get it from other places too, right? I think they can. I think you can get it from both. So Sarah is not happy if they pardon Fauci. The AC says, opposing any kind of Medicare for all or the healthcare forms, that'd be better for small businesses. Yes, let me go on. The big pharma, yes, is Chamber of Commerce is against most Medicare for all. I agree. I don't like the idea of Medicare for all either. I think what happens with Medicare for all, the concept, again, we're talking about concept versus in practice. I get the concept, I do. But in practice, what winds up happening is you get a 2-tiered system, which we have now already. So I just get another 2-tiered system. Where I live in New York City, and many cities either are this way or are going this way, if they aren't already there, is this a 2-tiered system. If you are wealthy, you don't go to any doctors that take insurance. You go to private doctors only. You don't take insurance. So when the wealthy say Medicare for all, they don't mean Medicare for all. They mean Medicare for y'all. You guys can have Medicare. I'm going to keep my private doctor, but I just swipe my card or whatever and get reimbursed through my Cadillac insurance plan or whatever the case may be. That's why they're not going to outlaw insurance. Kim, you might be mad, but they're never going to outlaw private insurance because they want private insurance. They want all the poorers to have Medicare for all, and then they keep the private insurance. New York State's been going that way. Over 50% of New York State residents are either on Medicare or Medicaid. Over 50%. The state's going to Medicare for all. It's by default, except for the wealthy who will go to private doctors. So it's already happening in New York State, right? They're slowly moving there. We're over 50% already. We're going to keep going until we're like 90%. And it basically will be Medicare for all. And when that happens, you're going to see what New York is going to do. They're going to leave New York because the healthcare is terrible in New York State. And it will keep getting worse. Because when the government becomes and right now, one of the reasons why the lockdowns are so bad is the hospitals are run by the government. So the government is the biggest payer. So the government tells the hospitals to do, or they don't pay them, and hospitals go under. So we already have a government-run healthcare system in New York State already, and it's moving towards Medicare for all. I see that as the future. that will just be worse. The wealthy will still get what they want. The best doctors will not be in the Medicare system. The best doctors will go to the private system. Every doctor who gets sued all the time, there will be a Medicare system. They're not going to be a private doctor system. Why would they be? So I think that's the problem. That's why I don't think it will work. I think in practice it will fail, only because I see in New York State. New York State is slowly moving towards what many people who like Medicare for all or who like heavy government intervention is moving towards that in every way. Education control, hospital control, Medicare control of everything, right? And control of who gets what by when, always. You're seeing more and more of that. And what winds up happening is people leave. They don't like it. And it isn't just wealthy people. Wealthy people are leaving, of course, but everyone's leaving. The state's losing. The state now loses more people than any other state. People are voting with their feet. They are leaving all day long. So yes. P says, I don't mean the Vanguard podcast accusing of burning a sister. I was just saying that the audience was very hostile. Yes. Oh my God. This is the thing that's very different between the left and the right. I go on the left and right podcast. So if you see, I go on both of them. The right podcasts, when they don't like my libertarian views, they'll still yell at me. But they'll yell at me with an argument. That's not true because you're wrong, because you're un-American, because you're a socialist, because they'll do that. They will yell at me, but they'll yell at me with an argument. The left doesn't. The left just insults me. Just insults, just dismissive. And the left will be dismissive of me before I say a word. I've been on Vanguard. The Vanguard's chat is horrible to me. Just nothing but insults. I was on Vosh. Horrible. Just insult. Destiny. Insult. They just insulted me. And I didn't say a word yet. Bad guy, hates people, libertarians are stupid. I mean, just insult. You are correct, Peace. It's not uncommon. Whenever I go on left-leaning, popular ones, like I said, I was Vosh, Destiny, Vanguard. They aren't bad. Destiny was very good to me. Talked to me. Vosh was wonderful to me. He was very good, chatted with me. The Vanguard boys were good to me. They were good. Let me be clear. The hosts were very good to me. They were very civil. They, of course, they didn't like what I had to say, but they were very civil, did not insult me. I was on Sabby Sab's podcast. She was very good to me. Her chat was terrible to me. All of their chats, nothing but attack. Nothing but attack. So yes, I'm with you. The chat is very hostile in those. And don't get me wrong, the chat's hostile on the right too, but it's a reason why I'm wrong, right? Or un-American. I get an un-American a lot too, right? It's the reason why, or I'm not capitalist enough for them, right? I get that too from the right, but I do get some of that. But it's usually a reason. I don't get that from the left. I just get insult after dismissive insult. I just learned to deal with it. Sometimes they feel bad. If I go on some shows, the hosts feel so bad about the chat. I was on Dylan Burns' show. Dylan Burns also lefty. Chat destroys me. They don't want to say anything because they feel so bad. So I will deal with it. Like I'll see the comment and I go, one of your commenters called me this. I'm going to touch on that. And like, okay. They think I'm insulted by it. No, I've been doing this for years. So I've been called all the names that I've been called them already. I know they think they got Larry Sharpe. That's a new one. No, it's not. Heard that 25 times. So I know the arguments. So I sometimes reach out and I see the comment. Let me adjust this comment. When I do that, then the host actually feels better because they're embarrassed on how terrible that their chat is. I'm sorry I went long on that, but I feel your pain. Joseph, thank you for the $2, my friend. Capitalism for us, communism for all you poors. Yes, exactly. You all get the bread lines. You get the bread lines. We don't get those. We get the fresh bakery. You get the bread lines. That's correct. Yes. That is definitely an issue that I see all the time. So, all right, let me grab a couple of these. Okay. Sorry. Sal says, I'm just wondering if it's because I'm just a skeptic, but the harder and quicker they push random disgruntled guy, to more I want to say, look at the guy's spouse and business partners. I'm just wondering if it's because I'm just a skeptic, but the harder and quicker they push random disgruntled guide to more, I want to say, look at the guy's spouse or business partners. I'm not sure where you're going with that one, Sal. Did I misunderstand that? Was that maybe that wasn't for me? Maybe that wasn't for me. Sometimes these pop up in front of me and it may not be the one that you were trying to do. So I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Jared says, I find it kind of weird and humorous. The stock of healthcare went up at the assassination. Well, maybe there'll be good changes. Maybe that's what they think. There'll be good changes. Maybe that's it. So yes. Yeah. All righty. The AC says, obviously he knew what he was doing. I was thinking he took an e-bike and rode it to Central Park, where presumably there are less cameras. Yeah. I think, again, he was thinking, but how good is he? I don't know. Is he that good? Maybe. So yeah, there's a difference between contract and targeted. I think it was targeted, but I don't think it was contract. I think it was personal. P says, I spent the past 2 hours conversing with a podcast called The Matter. Yep. The audience grilled me. I was secretly burning. Thank you. Those are the end answer questions. Readable, very left. Okay, you have another one. Let me finish it. One member accused me of deporting his sister from America. That's funny. Yes, that is funny. Yeah. But no. I hope I've been through that, my friend. I've been through it. 100%. Sarah, thank you for the $5. Someday, please explain why Brianna Joy Gray and Sabby Sabs dislike RFK Jr. and adore Bernie so much. I'm sorry, Lawson, that's man. Thanks. I will tell you why. I'm happy. I know Sabby. I don't know Brianna very well at all. We've conversed never in person, only through email once or twice. Sabby and I have chatted. We haven't met each other, but we've chatted back and forth. So I know Sabby more. I'm not like Sabby's buddy. We're not like buddies, but I do know her. I really don't know Brianna. We've only gone back with the email like once or twice. So I don't really know Brianna at all. I've done an email. That's it. Sabby and I have actually conversed a bit. So we're friendlier, but I wouldn't say we're friends. We're acquaintances. But I'll tell you why. I'm totally aware of the reason why. Bobby Kennedy Jr. had one terrible take. And some of you are going to be upset about it, but it's just true. It was one terrible take for the left. Sorry, for the left, not for the right. The right's fine with this take. The left is not. And that was his unwavering support of Israel in the Gaza war. And not just that, the way he said things like Palestinians are the most pampered people. Those types of takes were terrible for someone like Sabby, for someone like Brianna Joy Gray, for someone like Cenk Uygur. They were all, when Bobby first started running, Brianna Joy Gray was excited. So was Sabby. To believe it or not, even in the beginning, kind of Crystal was too, a little bit. Crystal was really a Marianne Williamson fan, but she was kind of moving towards him. Cenk Uygur, once he realized Dean had no chance, he was like, maybe this RFK guy, maybe. Even he was flirting with him. Him and I, Cenk Uygur and I were both on Dan Abrams' show on News Nation 2-3 months back. And I was like, dude, you're kind of there. He's like, yeah. He like dodged it, right? Because he was kind of on an RFK train, kind of. But that was something that they could not get past. They just couldn't get past it at all. They couldn't get past that. And I think this was a mistake by Bobby. I think it was a mistake. That's my personal opinion. I think it was a mistake. I think he should have been much more neutral on it. And he wasn't. He was openly and aggressively pro-Israel during the Gaza wars and in many cases anti-Palestinian. I think he went too far. And I think it turned a lot of people off, particularly Sabby and Brianna. They are very hard. The Gaza war is a very big deal for that's one of their top issues, right? It wasn't my top issue before with you. It just wasn't. Many people, it's their top issue. For those two people, Brianna Joy Gray and Sabby, it is in their top two issues. Like it's very high. And when he turned on that, they were like, done. And they first went with Marianne Williamson kind of because she was against it. And then they shifted to Jill Stein. Jill Stein was 100% against Israel in the Gaza war, 100% against it, picked a Muslim running mate. Jill Stein was 100% pro-Gaza, anti-Israel, and that's why they jumped on the Jill Stein. That's the reason why. It was that issue. Otherwise, you're right. There are many reasons why Brianna Joy Gray and Sabby would have liked what RFK was talking about, right? A lot. You're right. They should have had. And in the beginning, they thought about it. They thought it was good, right? And now Bernie has become more quiet on it and then has become anti until they jumped on him too, right? So that's the reason why. That one issue is the biggest issue. I kind of wish he had just kind of said like nothing, but it's what he felt. And Bobby says what he feels. And there it is. What are you going to do? Again, for me, it wasn't my number one issue. But if that's your number one issue, that's why. Joseph, thank you for the $5. Peace Logic's only real personal flaw is deporting everyone's sister. This is a big deal. I believe he's seeing someone about this now. Look, Peace is a wonderful guy, but yeah, he's not perfect. He's not perfect. No, nobody is, right? Now, clearly my problem is I'm just so damn good looking. That's a problem because it makes other people jealous. That's my issue. Peace is he just hates people's sisters. That's his issue. He wants to deport them all. But he's working on it. He's working on it. We've been talking about it. He'll fix it. Just give Peace some time. He'll stop deporting people. I'm sorry. He doesn't deport people. He deports sisters only. That's like his thing. So he'll stop doing it. I'll stop being so damn good looking. And we'll get over this. We'll get past this. We will get past our flaws. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Sarah, I hope I answered your question. But that's the real reason. That's where it is. So, yes. All righty. Let me see if I can grab some of these right here. Jennifer brings up a point. She says it's a class issue, and AC jumps on board too, says it's kind of a class issue. It's about time more people realize that we've been in class warfare for a long time. Class warfare, and think about class warfare isn't left or right, it's all of us. You're all correct. This is exactly right. I love this issue that you're bringing up. If you're going to fight on something, if you're going to fight on class, if you're going to fight, I'm with you. That makes more sense. The enemy isn't the capitalist, I'm doing that in quotes, who runs a small store on the corner. He's not your enemy. He's probably hiring your daughter and giving her her first job. That guy's not your enemy. But the guy who owns, the massive store that has 7,000 locations across the country, yeah, that guy's probably your enemy. That guy probably, because he's making sure that local capitalist is run out of town, and that the only people who get hired are basically people who won't try to do anything good with their lives, and he'll just scrub them to the ground. Yeah. So, and that's a class issue, right? So I completely agree with you. Many people think that every libertarian is for big business. The reality of it is the vast majority of libertarians are not. There are many Republicans who call themselves libertarians. They're not. And then they like big business. Most libertarians do not like big business. We don't like monopoly. We think monopoly is a terrible idea. We don't like big business being linked together with government. We like small businesses, family businesses, local community businesses, and we're all about it. The sad part is when we don't do class, to all three of your points, we wind up putting the guy who runs, or the gal who runs a 3-person accounting firm, right? She's got 3 people working with her, 2 accountants and 2, bookkeepers. We link her, capitalist, with the massive accounting firms in DC who are all lobbyists, for, everybody in the world. They're totally different. Both capitalists, totally different. So I do think it's class. And look, I brought this up in the past. Some of you know about the 1619 Project. Based off something real. I mean, taken to a spot where it's nuts as usual, but that's okay. Based on something real, right? For those who know, Bacon's Rebellion, this is where you had a class revolt. You had people who had been brought to America as indentured servants, and they said, this is horrible. We don't be here anymore. We're going to revolt against the elite class. The elite class said, okay, we got a problem. We can't do this. They're going to kill us. Oh, okay, we're going to change things. We're going to make it that if you're white, then you're an indentured servant, but if you're black, you're a slave. That's the beginning of chattel slavery. It was a class issue. It was to break the working class up into race. And boy, did it work. It's still working. It's 400 years ago, still working. That's how effective that was. 400 years ago, still working. Now we're fighting about gender. Now we're fighting about race. Not about that. You guys are all correct. You're absolutely right. And I think we still fall into it. We still fall into it. So, all righty. Phil says, talking to John, when my grandfather went to the VA hospital, he complained about a stomach pain, and they gave him stronger and stronger laxatives. It turns out he had a 10-centimeter aneurysm in his gut. Wow. That was dangerous for 10 years, and the VA missed it because they were trying to move people through. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Phil. There are certain things the VA is good at. The loans are, but I think you can get loans outside of the VA. You can get VA loans outside the VA. But yes, VA loans are great. But going to school, amazing. And then basics of like broke your arm, broke your leg, good at that. Schooling and that, they're good at. The rest, like your point, they're not great. They're not great. So, yes. So, all righty. See if I can go here. Annie says, no war, but flash war. That's why people like Nikki and I are here. Okay. I love it. Yes. Russell says, insurance companies are a scam at this point. The transparency on pricing that you've talked about forever now. 100%. 100%. Hospitals are supposed to give transparent pricing. If you remember, during the Trump administration, that law actually passed. They just don't do it. They just don't do it. They just don't. I'm not joking. They just don't do it. There's a law. They're supposed to. So someone's supposed to enforce it. They don't. Because why would they? Why would they? Correct. Angie says, I stay on keto and don't go to doctors. I'm 66 years old, 0 meds. My Medicare still hasn't kicked in. Long story, why I still don't have it. Angie, you and I both. I've been on keto for 14 years. Stay on it. I only go to doctors when I run for office, so I have my medical records when people ask for it. That's it. That's when I go to doctors once every 4 years. Otherwise, I don't go either. Never go to doctors, 0 meds. You got me a couple years on age. I'm not as old as you, but I'm right there. But no meds, no prescriptions, same thing. I'm not concerned about I lose money on healthcare every year. I just lose money. I basically pay for catastrophic insurance. I don't because New York State makes me pay, but I pay basically for catastrophic insurance. I lose money. And my oldest daughter is on my insurance, so I basically pay for her. I never use my insurance, ever. And usually if I go to a doctor, I go to a private doctor. Usually I do. I'll swipe my credit card. It's one time every 4 years. I'll swipe my credit card. It's fine. I don't even use my insurance. When I go and use my insurance, I swipe my credit card. I fall into the same tier. I go once every 4 years. I don't mind swiping my credit card. You charge me $150? It's fine. Once every 4 years, I'll do it. To get a private doctor, I'll do it. 100%. So yeah, that's the issue. The AC says, I consider getting a Cadillac plan, but it was $100 extra bucks per week. It probably wouldn't have been worth it, but that was a big trigger ball. Yeah, that's the issue. Look, if you're making 7 figures a year, AC, you don't care about that. Yeah, fine. Give me the Cadillac one. I'm making 7 figures a year. I'm good. You're not making 7 figures a year. That $100 a week matters, right? It matters. 100%. That's who you are. So, all right. Joe says, let them eat cake. Nice. P says, to the previous commenter, I am love. Talk to me. We cannot make assumptions about each other. Dean X, peace logic. Well, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so I can do this here. Politico and The Hill have said blanket pardons. Thank you, Mike. I knew somebody, right, had said that. I probably saw it on a Hill video. I think it was the Hill website. I did because I haven't looked at Politico today, so I probably saw it on the Hill. Thank you for that. Yes, there we go. Oh, Sal says Tim Pool in the courtroom. Okay, it's all over. There we go. Vanguard are not very left. They are, but the Vanguard boys are left, but there's a big but here. They're very similar to the Crystal Balls of the world and the Cenk Uygurs of the world, which is they're left until. Now, to give Sabby Sabs, Sabrina Salvati is her actual name, to give Sabrina and to give Brianna Joy Gray credit where credit is due, they stayed left the entire time. They were like, nope, we are left. Democrats are liberal. They're not left. We are going Jill Stein. And they supported Jill Stein to the end. And kudos for them for having the morals and to push that as far as they were. Now, the Vanguard guys are like Cenk Uygur or Crystal Ball. They're super left until their guy loses, and then they go Democrat. So that's them. That's what most people who are left are, right? Vosh, same way. Vosh is super left. Well, I'm a communist. Then vote Biden. That's basically what he vote Harris, right? So they're super left until there's nothing left, then they just go Democrat. So they are left, but they're not hardcore, if that makes any sense. They talk like they are, but they're not. They went right to Harris. And they should have, in theory, for their talk, they should have been supporting someone like Jill Stein, or maybe even Claudia de la Cruz, right? Someone like that. Claudia de la Cruz is an obvious socialist, right? An open communist, just open communist, right? Jill Stein is pretty much as close as you can get, but is an open communist. Claudia de la Cruz is an open communist. She ran for president. She was on a ballot. Why are they supporting those guys, right? So if you're that left, you should have been supporting those people. So your point is that they don't go all the way, but they are left. They're not. They're not going to support Republicans. They're not going to support conservatives ever. They're not going to support libertarians ever. So they are left, but they're not really leftists. If that makes any sense, they're not really leftists. I hope that makes sense. So, but if you watch them, you will see. Jennifer goes on to say, "I lost family and friends with lockdowns." Me too. My show was destroyed by lockdowns. You wonder why a guy like me, who's been doing this for so long, who's been on so many shows, who's done so many things, still only gets several thousand views total on a show like this. Why? It happened during lockdowns. The second I started talking about how I was against the mandates, and I didn't even say I was against the stick. I didn't say that. I just said against the mandates. Every single one of my social media platforms were turned down. I'm not exaggerating. 95% gone. 95%. I went from 5,000 views on one platform to 500 views overnight. Gone. Just what happened? I got 5,000 views just on Facebook. Now I got 500. I have 5,000 views on YouTube. Now I got 500. What happened? On all my platforms, gone overnight. Within like 2 days, boom, gone. And I used to just go on one platform. I didn't have, now you see me, I do this on 8 platforms now. I used to do just one. Just do Facebook or just do YouTube. 5,000 views, done. Now to get 5,000 views, I do 8 to get 5,000 views. I do 8 platforms, same amount. Think about how devastating that is. Think about, you look at my Larry Sharpe YouTube page, right? There's almost 40,000 followers. I get 400 views, 500 views, 1,000 views, 2,000 views. That's it. I haven't changed. I'm the same guy, same everything. And if you look back, it went dun, 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 boom. Huh. So yeah, trash that. Not just that, trash family, friends, so much. 100%. It was terrible. And I am unhappy. Kintsugi says, happened too fast, it's time to adjust. Yes, and humans are, Kintsugi, to your point, humans are already struggling to keep up with technology and our culture already. Before that, we were already struggling to keep up with it. This was far too much. Yes, far too much. Yes. All right. Jared says, Adrian is right. The social contract got completely destroyed in 2020. Society has only gotten worse since then. It depresses me greatly. Yes. Yes. Kintsugi says, working remotely is the worst. Everyone wants to, but it's not that great. There's a lot of pain to it. I agree, Kintsugi. I want to meet people too. It's why I go and do it. Right? It's why I go and do it. In fact, that makes me, I gotta, it's why I'm going this weekend. Right? I'm going to 4 events this weekend. I go all the time. People see me at events. You see me post pictures of me at events. I go to events to meet people all the time. I try my best to get out there and meet people because you have to sometimes, right? You sometimes have to. Yes. All righty here. The Vanguard will be there, sir. I like how that sounds. That sounds great. All right. All right. Pickup Bell says, no, it's who you were thinking of. Peace. Was in the stream earlier talking you up, Larry. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been on the show before. They're not bad guys. They tend to be kind of funny. They can be vulgar sometimes, but I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me. But yeah. The AC says, no, the 2 young leftists live in Kansas City. I believe they're both 26. Yeah, they're not they're like, one's like a bartender and something else. I forgot. Yeah, bartender and something else. Yeah, but they still work. Yeah, absolutely. Pickup Bell says, I love working remotely, but I live in the middle of nowhere, so remote work is almost the only option for me to participate in my industry without having to move back into the city. Yeah, you know, the issue, I think, Pickup Bell, and I'm assuming you do this. I don't know you personally in that regard, but I assume you find ways to meet people, right? You either have something like this where you have an online chat with people or friends, or you physically travel to see people on a weekly or monthly or whatever basis, right? You have to be a bit more stringent or structural. That's what I meant, structural on how you meet people sometimes. Yeah, you have to do that. Or if you're lucky, you have a very large family nearby. I hope that'd be awesome if you have that. You have your support structure right there. So that'd be great. So yes. All right. Joseph says, YouTube's plus Facebook's hate you for your freedoms, Larry. They did. Joseph, you're correct. I wanted us to have some freedoms, and they hated me because of that. You are correct. But at that point, it was Twitter too. Remember, Elon didn't own it then. I saw a difference in Twitter like within 2 weeks of Elon buying it. I'm not even joking. I saw an increase in Twitter within 2 weeks. How I knew Twitter wasn't shadow banning me anymore. Now I've already been broken from the first shadow ban. So now the algorithms have to come back, right? The problem is even if they unshadow ban you, the algorithms are already broken. They've already forgotten you from when they crushed you from, years ago. So I'm trying to, which is why you hear me say every 4 times a show, what do I say? Guys, hit the like button, I'm a broken record. Why am I a broken record? I'm trying to undo the algorithms from 4 years of screwing me. That's why I bug you all the time, right? Not because I'm bored. I'm not. I'm trying to get you guys to do it so that I can get past it. It's why I say, please share this into something else. Get someone else watching it. Put it into Facebook. Put it into X, right? Take the YouTube and put it into X. Take the X and put it into Facebook. Whatever. Those types of things, they rock and roll, right? That's what I'm trying to achieve. And if you can subscribe, subscribers do matter. Super chats always count also. And that's why I ask you at the end of the show, put a comment. I respond to all the comments because that gets things going. I am trying my damnedest to break the shadow ban. I really am. It is really hard. It's been screwing me for literally 3 years, if not more. And I'm trying to get past it. And it is very hard to do. And the problem is I've had to stop working on the show to run for office, to pay bills, right? To just do things. For those of you who do a show like this, it's time consuming, right? It's an hour and a half to 2 hours every day on the show itself. It's my team who I talk to. Missy, I talk to every day, right? Others I talk to weekly or sometimes a couple times a week. Missy's every day. And it's posting stuff, making sure it gets posted all over the place. It's researching and knowing what I'm talking about. It's picking topics, right? I haven't found a guest. If you notice, I've had a guest in weeks. It's funny guests. That's hard too, right? So this takes up time. If I'm losing 4 or 5 hours every day doing this, that's 4 or 5 hours I'm not working, or I'm not with my family or friends, or I'm not making money someplace else. This show loses money every month. I've been losing money on this show for 5 years now, whatever. I don't know. However long I've had it since 2019, so 5 years. I've been losing money on the show for 5 years. So I lose money on the show. But I've been trying to grow it again. It takes time. So when I have to stop and start working, I can't do this. Or I have bad shows that I don't want, so I just stop having shows. There's been times, if you've been watching a long time, where I won't have a show for 2 weeks. I gotta work. I gotta do stuff. I gotta travel. Can't do a show. So I don't have a show for 2 weeks. Well, I don't have a show for 2 weeks. Algorithm shot again. All my work on the algorithm gone. Not gonna reboot the entire thing again. So yes, it can be very frustrating, which is why I have some time this season, which is why I've been going nuts trying to get as many shows in as I can, because I have some time now to do it. It's why I'm doing it. So, yes. Juan, how are you, sir? He says, I wonder if New York City is going to come up with more gun laws to prevent this from happening again. I guess the previous 100 didn't work. That's the problem, Juan. See, if we would have had just one more gun law, this would never happened. That's what it is. See, you get it. You understand, Juan. One more gun law, just one more. In fact, we actually have probably maybe 3 more gun laws. Maybe 3 more. There'd be no murders at all in New York City ever again. That'd be the end of death. Oh, Juan, why don't we just outlaw dying? Me and you, Juan, we fixed it. We're going to outlaw dying. Then done. No one dies anymore. We'll just outlaw. That'll work. Oh, no, it won't. Have to be federal. All right, we'll first do a city law outlawing dying, then a state law outlawing dying, then we'll do a federal law outlawing dying, and we'll be fine. That'll solve all our problems. God, we found it. Juan, you're brilliant. You're a genius. It's done. That's simple. Yes. Jennifer says, what's interesting is the low-paying jobs like Walmart and Amazon who qualify for free ACA. We are subsidizing their employees. Yes. In fact, there's a whole bunch of people in Walmart and Amazon who actually are Medicare, Medicaid. Tons. So we are subsidizing Walmart, 100%. Why in the world would libertarians like that? It's the last thing we want. Last thing we want. Jacob says, I knew they would pardon Fauci. That's what I meant by they would be able to pardon other swamp creatures. You did call it, so I guess I can blame you now, Jacob. It's your fault. Everybody blame Jacob. It's his fault. He gave him the idea to pardon Fauci. So when Fauci gets pardoned, everybody blame Jacob. We'll all shake our finger at you. It's your fault. There we go. But no, I think you were right. So yes. So the Admiral says, this chat is smart AF. That's true. That's accurate. Yes. Phil says, Larry Shaw, what do you think about the state insurance boards that work with insurance companies for the oligarchy? Most of you don't know this. Phil probably does. Why he's teasing me on this one. I think he is. New York State's the only state in the entire union that has a state insurance board. Just New York State. That's it. Yeah. Just to make sure they're taken care of. They have their own insurance board sponsored by the state to make sure that you are taken care of well. Yes. That's what I think about that garbage, Phil. Yeah, we're going to make sure that we are taken care of. We love you 100%. Yes. So that's how I feel. Yes. All righty. Peekaboo says, who cares if they go outside the system if everyone else gets care? I'll tell you why. Because they'll get bad care, Pinkabell. That's the issue, right? My worry, look at it now. And I bring this, if those of you who watch me for a while, you know I bring this idea up consistently. If you right now go to a doctor that takes insurance versus one who doesn't take insurance, you go to a doctor's office takes insurance, there is 2 doctors and there's 4 admin people. They're more worried about whether they photocopied your documentation, you fill out your form, than anything else. That's all that matters. You show up for your appointment at 3. You've seen it you've seen it at 4:45. You're an hour and 45 minutes late because they've stocked up a whole bunch of people right behind you. The room you're in is usually in a room that's old and they don't care about you, and the magazines are old and whatever. They don't care. You come in, your doctor sees you for maybe 5 minutes, if that, maybe 10 if they're good, but that's probably about it. And it always ends with either a procedure, a test, or a prescription. Why? That's how they get paid. They have to double stock you because they get only a certain amount of money. That's all they're going to get from the insurance company. So they have to double book, because if they miss you and you don't show up, oh my God, and they have to make double and triple up for every hour to make enough money to survive, which is why so many of them are getting bought out by large conglomerates who can take care of all the admin issues, because the admin is the biggest chunk. Not just that, they get paid if you have a problem. If you're doing well, they don't get paid. So that's why it's always check this test or this prescription. They'll prescribe you aspirin. I'm not joking. They'll prescribe you Tylenol. Why? They get paid. That's the system is made for them to get paid that way. The doctors aren't trying to be bad. They're trying to survive. So they must follow the system. Now, not just that. You're treated poorly. Why? Because you're in the way. You're not the customer. The customer is the insurance company, or usually the government. That's usually the actual customer. You're in the way. They're more worried about making sure the numbers are correct so they get paid than you getting taken care of. It's irrelevant you get taken care of. You do, great. If you don't, that's great too. Whatever. Go. Change that now. Go to a private doctor. I know I go to private doctors too. And by the way, the guy that I spoke to when I was on Sam Cedars' show, I told him that too. I said, you go to a private doctor? He went, yeah. Yeah, Sam Cedar, Mr. Lefty, goes to private doctors. He's in New York City. He makes tons of money. That's why he knows the private doctors. Everyone in New York City who makes good money goes to private doctors. That's how the system works. That's how I know he did it. He admitted. He pays more than I do. He admitted to paying 4 figures. Yes. So just saying, yeah, go to a private doctor. There's 2 administrative people and 4 doctors in that office. It's the reverse. You show up at 2 o'clock for your 2 o'clock appointment. You're seen latest 2:05. Latest, usually on time. Why? Because you're getting swiped. He doesn't have to stock it. You swipe your credit card and give him a check. Done. The room is nice. They care about you. They call you nice names. They're good to you. You show up, the doctor talks to you. He says, hey, Pinkerbell, you know, how are you sleeping? How are you eating? You know, what's going on with your stress level? Why? Because she got paid. You swiped your credit card. She got her cut. She got $150 or whatever she charges. She got paid. She doesn't have to give you a prescription. She doesn't have to give you a procedure. She doesn't have to do that because you paid her. I would like everyone to get that care. That's what I want. And I've spoken about ways in gross detail on how all New Yorkers can get that care. I don't want Medicare for y'all and private doctor for me. I want us all to have private doctors. I spoke about an idea that I had back when I was running for governor, which is you then support what's the gym membership, right? Mindset, which is you pay the $150 a month or whatever that number is. You pay the amount per month and you go whenever you want, cost you $5. That's it. $5 to show up. $5. I have cancer. $5. I got a broken leg. $5. But you pay your $150, $150 every month. Can that be done? Already being done. That's already working. But a lot of poor people can't afford that. No worries. The state can support that. How? Either through some form of current Medicare, Medicaid, option 1 or option 2. Support the actual doctors. Say doctor/hospital clinic. First off, ignore the stupid Obama laws, which says if you're a doctor, you can't own a hospital. That's just another gift to the financial that the ACA was a gift to the freaking financial business and insurance companies. And that let doctors own practices and hospitals, and they can have inside a hospital if they want to. They can have their own practice if they want to. Why are we stopping that? Because we're stupid and we want to make sure we screw this whole system up. Have it. You go there and you say, for example, 10% of all your members are what the state says is poor. How the state says that. Say, for example, you maybe the state decides that poor equals you qualify for WIC or EBT, whatever that is, right? That's what the state says. Take X% of those and you pay no state payroll tax. So that means now you're a member of that local hospital or that hospital group or that doctor's group. You're the same membership as the rich guy or the middle class guy who pays $150 and you pay nothing because you're poor, and the state goes, we'll take care of your tax bill, just cover them. Everyone gets the same coverage. Everyone gets the same service. This is doable. It's challenging, don't get me wrong. It's doable. That's my issue, Pinkerbell. I'm not okay with the wealthy going out and getting great stuff and then everyone else getting leftovers. I want us all getting the good stuff. And that's not easy. Not pretending like it's a simple thing to do, but it's way better than what we have now. And we can do it. It can be done. And again, some people are doing it already. They tried it in Japan, by the way, free. It didn't work. They had to charge something, which is why I said you charge $5. Larry, some people can't survive $5. Yes, you can. That's bullshit. You can pay $5 for a doctor's visit. Everyone if you can't afford $5 for a doctor's visit, you don't have an address. And if you don't have an address, you go for free anyway, right? If you don't have an address. But if you have a physical address, you can afford $5 to go to the doctor. You can. You ain't going every day. You're not. It's not how it works. But what happened is when it was free, seniors would go every day and hang out at the hospital with their friends. That actually happened in Japan. So they had to go, no, we charge you something. So they charged them like whatever, 100 yen or whatever the amount was. I forgot what it was. It's a small amount, very small amount. So they wouldn't just go every day for free. And we must charge something. I picked $5. That's too much. $2.50, $3, whatever, something, not free, something, just cheap enough that anyone can deal with it. And you do that, you'll be fine. So it can be done. So I hope that at least makes sense. So, all righty. Keep going here. Peace says, thank you for the $10. Public announcement. Get out, ride your bike to the sun, exercise, eat good food. Yep. Anything that doesn't have 5 paragraphs of ingredients. I would agree, right? And probably the rawer, the better, probably too, I would say. Yes, absolutely. Peace goes on to say, save your mind, eat good food. Agreed. I'm all about it. I'm with you 100%. I go out of my way to not eat processed food. Sometimes I find myself having to where I am out. It happens. I'm not perfect, but I go out of my way to eat no processed food. Out of my way to eat as raw and as rare as I can. I'll say that. As organic as I can, as fresh as I can. It's not always easy, but yes, there we go. All righty. Let's see here. Phil says New York has a fascist healthcare, private ownership, government direction. Ooh, look at you. Nicely done, Phil. Nicely done. That's good. Yes, nicely done. I like that one. So I hope I answered your question, Picabelle, at least. I don't know if I did, but I hope I answered your question at least. So, all righty. Icy says, Sabby is too Green Party for me. She's all in Green Party. Sabby's all in. She is, yes, all in. Yes. Andrew says, the Sharpe Way chat are the most classy bunch of them. And the reason why, you brought this up, Andrew. Thank you for bringing this up. When they can't come on this show, and when I bring communists on this show, when I bring hardcore conservatives on this show, it's not a meanness. They're not mean. They may be jokey, that happens, but there isn't a meanness. And there is pushback, but it's not mean. And one of it is, and the reason why it isn't mean is because I'm not that way and I set the tone of the show, right? I'm not going, you're stupid, you idiot. I don't do that stuff, right? It's not what I do. Even when I disagree, and I disagree with you guys sometimes, but I tell you why I think I disagree, what I think the issue is. I don't fight it. So yeah, I think that's the reason. I think we have right now, the host of the show sets the tone. And it is one of the reasons why the show isn't as popular, because blood sport is very popular. If I were to sit here and bring on, if I was like a more hardcore libertarian show, and I'd be a libertarian, I'd bring on comments, just wreck them and yell at them and call them names, all those things, I probably would get more people watching. I probably would, but it wouldn't be a show I'd want to do. So I wouldn't do it every day. I'd do it maybe once a week when I want to yell at people or something. That'd be about it. So yeah, I don't think those shows do well because they own the lib or they own the conservative or they yell at the guy, whatever, right? It's blood sport. Blood sport's exciting. It's giving people what they want. It's giving people red meat, and they do it. But I would say the same thing. If you want a libertarian show, there's a gazillion of them. There's a gazillion libertarian podcasts that's holier than thou, and their piety is and piety that. It's just tons of it. Tons of it. You don't need to I'm here for that. They're all over the place. But I'm trying to not be that, right? My biggest issue is trying to not have an echo chamber. I learn more. I hope you all do too, from each other and from me. I hope we all learn more. An echo chamber feels good. I get it, but it doesn't work. So Jennifer says, Palestinians are the pampered ones. Yes, I know. Sarah says, oh yeah, the Israel thing. But besides this, that's it. That's the one. Kintsugi says, yep, I've heard that criticism many times. Yes, that's the one. Jennifer, perfect. That's the deal breaker. It is. They're right. That's the one. Yes. Jank, the C is pronounced J. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say Jank? Did I not say that? I hope I did. I wasn't trying to be insulting, AC, if I was. I hope I said it right. Did I say Chenk? Isn't it like a ch and a j together? It's like a chink, like that, right? Chink? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not Turkish. I hope no, if there's any Turkish people listening, I am not trying to insult. I hope it's ain't close enough. It is not intentional if I'm insulting anybody. I hope not. So yes. All right. All righty. Yeah. Sarah says JFK practically befriended Sirhan Sirhan. He has 2 podcasts on the path to peace. I'm agreeing with you. Sarah. I'm telling you, it was a deal breaker for them. It was a deal breaker. That was it. Yes. So Roy says, leftists oppose Israel because they are Western capitalist nation that offers freedom. So they pretend that they are colonialists or genocide, so they get their other leftists and ignorant college sympathies. I think there's some truth to that. I'm not trying to insult Brianna Joy Gray or Sabby, but I think there's some truth to that. I think what many people have put together over the past years, particularly out of colleges, is everything's based upon a power dynamic. Big guy bad, little guy good by default, right? If this was 1972 and you got the 4 big guys attacking Israel, they'd be like, Israel's good because it's small and the other guys are big and they're all, attacking them and trying to genocide Israel. They'd be saying that in 72 if this was 1972, right? But now Israel's big compared to Gaza. So Israel's bad. Israel's bad. Why? It's the big guy. It's bad. It's the big guy. That's it. It is oppressing and therefore by default bad. History doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. I think there's some truth to this, Roy. But it's still accurate. If that makes any sense. So yes. Joseph says, healthcare solution, let them eat cake yet again. Yes. Peace Logic. Thank you for the $99, brother. Let's not talk. We need to collaborate, all of us. Wasn't do less action. No talk to you. You and I are talking next week, man. Did we already discuss this? Did we miss it? I thought we were talking. We already agreed. We're going to plan out next year. We're already in. Me and you already in, man. We're already in. Already going to happen. We're talking about the movies we're going to make. We're already good. You and I are good, brother. We're already in. So, yes. All right. All righty. So I can keep going down here. All righty. Joel says, remember, poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids. You're not wrong, Joel. He did say that. Biden did say that. That's true. Absolutely. He did say that. 100%. The AC says, Larry gets it. Oh, thank you. I got it. Okay. AC's not always on my side. I got him. All right. There we go. Nate says, IP law, I see as government granted monopoly on an idea and is likely the biggest driving force behind class division. I'm not necessarily against intellectual property law. I'm against the current laws. They're embarrassingly bad. For those of you who don't know what a lot of these laws were supposed to be for initially, one of the reasons that many of these laws, copyright laws, trademark laws, things like that, was actually not made originally. It has become this, but originally it was not made to protect the company. It was actually originally made to protect the consumer. You know what? Yes. Like they didn't want someone thinking when someone put a fraudulent, label on something that it was company A trying to become company B. So they made laws initially to protect the consumer. So I couldn't say I was Coca-Cola because I'm not. So I got to say I'm something else because if I said I was Coca-Cola, I would be defrauding the consumer. Boy, has that changed. But Nate, that was the original goal. We're not there at all now. Now we're at a point where it's insane. Isn't it something like it's 99 years after the death of the creator or something like that? No. But if you made something simple, because you do want to encourage innovation, you do want to encourage these types of things. You do want to encourage them. It's just if you did something like just said, intellectual property law, once you make an idea, you got 3 years or something like that. I'm not necessarily against something like that. 3 years is fine. You get the initial start. You could rush ahead. You get advantage, but then the market comes in and whatever happens, happens. So I do think you do want to give some kind of benefit to the guy or gal who comes up with the idea. But after that, I'm with you. It goes too far, right? It goes too far. The other issue is one of the biggest ways people get out of their class is by making an invention. So I don't want someone to just make an invention and then lose it to a big company. I'd rather them have the 3 years or something so they can sell it if they want to, right? I got an idea. You want the 3 years? I'll sell it to big companies who they get up 3 years, but I get a big check. Okay, I'm happy with it if I want. Or I get an investor and I do it myself for 3 years so I can now fight against the big company. Either one, I'd be okay with either of those, whatever the individual wants. Some people probably, want to sell and just get cash, and some people probably want to do it. So yes, here we go. All righty. Dave says chattel slavery existed in Portuguese Brazil. No, I meant in the Americas. I meant in America. Did I say the Western Hemisphere? I meant America. I may have misspoke, Dave. Yeah, I may have misspoke. That was the beginnings here in America, meaning USA, not the Americas. Yet the Spanish were doing a lot of stuff. You're right, but this wasn't Spain, right? That I meant America. So maybe I misspoke. I don't remember what I said. I hope I didn't misspeak, but I meant in the origin in America. That's what a C19 project is, an American project, not from the Spanish. So anyway, yes. All righty. All right. Let's see here. Joseph says, yeah, screw doctors. No, thank you. Diet, lifestyle, exercise, sun, and positive vibes. Freedom and joy. See that? Joseph, clearly you voted for Kamala. I got it. You voted for Harris. I love it. There we go. I like that. Sarah says keto was healing. I have found that to be true in my own world. I have found it to be true. Right? I've definitely found it to be true. 100%. Definitely. All righty. The AC says, colonoscopies have saved my life, or so they tell me. I hope they have. I got one a couple years back. You got to get one like when you turn 50 or something. I forgot what it was. So I got one a couple years back. I did too. Got to get one. I didn't have a problem. So he said, if Claudia had a chance of winning. Well, Jill Stein had no chance of winning either. Right? Jill Stein, no chance of winning. And I think they stood behind Jill Stein. So why not stand behind Claudia? I stood behind libertarians who had no chance of winning, right? I stood behind him. So yeah. IC says Sabby was super upset when the super left went to Harris. Yes. Especially the beach blonde dude who did daily updates on. Yes. That is Kyle. Yes. Crystal's what I call oldest son. So yeah, that's him. Same thing. He was all about Man Williamson. He was all about Jill Stein, and then turned and went Harris. Again, that whole piece of just all of a sudden turning onto Harris. That's horrible. I completely agree. Look, yeah. Andrea says, I found you because of your stance on mandates, but to be fair, I was looking for that content. Thank you. Yes, that is the whole reason. I was definitely against that. 100%. Joel says, Zuckerberg apologized for censoring us at the government's request. Yeah, so uncensor me then and give me some followers. I have 88,000 followers on Facebook. 500 views. 1,000 views. 88,000 followers. That's what I get. I have an idea. Zuck, unzuck me. Don't just apologize. Unzuck me. So that's all I'm saying. I should be unzucked. That's what I would like. All righty. Joseph says AOC was a bartender and she quit her real job and now she worth $5 million. Yeah, how you worth $5 million when your salary is $170,000 a year? If you add up all the money you made and don't spend any of it, that's not $5 million. And that's true, by the way. Yeah. How'd you do that? Huh. I am clearly in the wrong business. I need to run for Congress. People tell me that forever. It's the ultimate grift, I guess, right? Yeah. Kim says, are the algorithms on all platforms working together? The algorithms weren't working together, but the government was attacking all of them, telling them all to use their algorithms to turn us all down. We know that for a fact now, right? Literally, they said it. The government attacked all of them and said, all of you do it. So they the algorithms themselves were not working together, but the government was working to have each one of them do it. So by default, yes. Shelley says, I was thrown off Facebook for watching Larry. Badge of honor. Thank you. Look at that. That's amazing. I love that. There we go. Kinsugi says, I'm glad I found you around this time then. Thanks for all the work you put in. Oh, I appreciate that, Kinsugi. I really do. I appreciate that. Yes. The AC says, this vigilante is making me rethink my support of gun control laws. There we go. There we go. Libertas says, murder is literally legal in New York City. I can't believe this hasn't followed the law. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird that he didn't follow the law. It's weird. You think about someone who's an outlaw who doesn't follow the law. Wait a minute. You mean criminals don't follow law? What? It's true. It's true. Yes. The AC says, when I ran, then owned a restaurant, I hated that 90% of my employees live with their parents. In my humble opinion, if your business can't afford to pay employees enough, do not have their parents subsidize you. Well, there's the issue. There's a couple issues there. One, now, at least, over half of people under 30 live with their parents now anyway. So that has become the norm, right? My daughter is 20. She lives with me. So I think it's a common thing anyway. But second, the issue is when you get your first job, is the assumption that your first job is a job that will get you out of the house or not. And I'm not sure that the problem is what we as a society, as a culture, the idea of getting a starter job isn't really a thing for many people. It's, I got my degree. Now I walk out and I get $100,000 job at Google, right? That was what we were all promised. Get your degree in whatever it is from some cool, go $100,000, $10,000 in debt, whatever it is. And you walk outside and there's a job waiting for you for $100,000 a year. Good luck. Life is good. I think most people, when I was younger, I mean, a lot of guys I knew out of high school would get a job and still with their parents for a little bit, right? So they got their second or third job. A lot of guys, I worked when I was 16. A lot of people used to work when they were young. So I do think that. So yeah, I don't know. I think that if your leadership in your restaurant or your senior people are our employees working at home, I think I'd be concerned. I would be. But if some of your junior employees are getting their first or second job and are starting to get their resume out, that wouldn't bother me, right? That wouldn't bother me in that situation. I've had employees before, and one of my employees was kind of an entry-level clerk. She lived at home. Her first job, she was 17, 18. I'm not worried. I think it depends on what kind of job and where you are. And the second piece is, if you go to that level, what winds up happening is people will only go to big business. Big business can be stifling. The people hate big business. Big business very often is not innovative. And sometimes you have to go to smaller places, which will pay you less for you to become innovative. Many people will work at a small restaurant someplace, change cities, and open up a new restaurant because they learned it all there, versus going to, say, a McDonald's or something, and you don't learn how to run a restaurant. You learn how to run a McDonald's. A whole different issue. So I feel like that's not black and white in my eyes, AC. I don't think it's black and white. So yes. So, all right. See if I can grab here if I could. Kinsley says they wouldn't even let me pay for my MRI out of pocket. Insurance denied the one I really needed. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. I see doctor's orders, procedure, probe, pill. Yeah. Yes. AC says my doctor doesn't usually make me wait long. You are lucky. Good for you. Good for you. That is not a common thing. That is not a common thing. So I do appreciate that. Yes. AC says, in Finland, private schools are illegal. The public schools are the best in the world, and the prime minister's daughters go to them. Yes, Finland also is homogenous and only has 5 million people in it. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, but literally, there's 5 million Finns. I don't know how I know that, but it's only 5 million Finns. That's it. It's 5 million Finns. And they are, if I remember right, there are 3 nations that are most homogenous in the world: Finland, I think Korea, and Japan. So they're a homogenous population of 5 million people. America is not that. And they are built upon that. We are not that and not built upon that. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying I cannot assume that will work for us. I can't assume that. You have to make a lot of changes for that to work for us. A lot. So that's why I know people often do that. It's a different world, right? It's different world. What works in New York City doesn't work in Kansas. Different world, right? There are more people in New York City than there are in Finland, right? There are more people in Brooklyn and in Queens and Staten Island combined than there are in Finland. So it's a whole different issue. I can't see how they mix, if that makes any sense. So hope that makes sense. All right. All right, Andrew. Oh, you're talking to someone else. Sorry. Not talking to me. Apologize. Lottery shop destroys the competition. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. I don't want to do that though. Kim says Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer does. People like Jerry Springer, Kim. I mean, they do. Yes, they do. Yes. So Peace Out says, give us a recap of where we'll be able to see you. And Converse, you've got to visit DC, right? Yes, I will be in DC also. Yes, of course. I'm all over the place. 100%. Yes, I will be all over the place. AC says, Ocasio-Cortez's most recent FDR filed in August 2024 shows that December of 20, Congressman held between 3,000 and 40,000 total funds across 4 bank accounts, as well as between 15,000 and 3,000 debt from student loans. In what bank accounts? Her personal bank accounts? Which bank accounts is that? I'm not sure where that comes from. I'm not sure where that comes from. Don't know. Jennifer says some parents moving in with kids. I think it's also true. Yes. Dr. Berg has a zillion followers. I would love being on Dr. Berg's show. I think he's great. I do follow him. Yes, absolutely. So Joel says, at Kintsugi, I Googled your name. It's a beautiful concept. I happen to like Kintsugi also. I lived in Japan for many years. I'm a big fan of Kintsugi. The person and the art, both of them. I'm a big fan of both. Yes. The AC says, Sarah, plus we have colored people and Finland is all white. It's true. Yes, we have all of them. We have all of the things. That is true. We do have all of the things. You're right. All right. Kinzuki says, I moved out at 23. I thought it was a late bloomer, but now people are staying home earlier. Later. I agree. Most people, if I remember right, if you're under 30 in America, 50%, over 50% of people live with their parents. The Bureau of Death says, I moved out at 18. That was 24 years ago. I joined the Marine Corps at 17. So yeah, I worked at 16, joined the Marine Corps at 17. I get it completely. Yes. But again, that was, to your point, longer than 24 years ago. I'm a little bit older than you. So yes, absolutely. Jennifer says, I moved out at 21 and pregnant. Man, you weren't playing, Jennifer. I was not pregnant when I moved out. I was not. Yes. Absolutely. IC says, Finland, a homogenous population, tend to move in a similar direction and they trust their government. I think as a general rule, Finland has a higher trust in government. If you remember, when Finland, they had one of their prime ministers. Was it prime minister or president? I think it was prime minister. They had a female prime minister who was caught dancing. I'm not joking. She was caught dancing like a couple years back. She was ready to like resign. She might have actually resigned. She may have resigned. I think she did resign. It was a scandal. She was caught dancing. They had a young prime minister. She was like in her 30s. And it was like the end of the world. We caught her dancing online. It was crazy. Yeah. So it's a different culture, is all I'm saying. It's a very different culture. Sam says Finland's basically Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse. Yes. He says, but way closer. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Yeah, they're all I'm saying is it's different. That's all. Jennifer says, I lived in Japan when I was 3, father in the Air Force. There we go. There we go. Liberty joined the Army when he was 21. Oh, man in the Army, you 21 joining back then. Look at you. I like that. So, and it says, I've always yearned for another Larry Sharpe / Dave Smith collab. The good thing about Dave Smith and I when we get together is Dave Smith is not a policy guy, right? I will talk about the details of how things works within policy. He's much more of a bigger picture idea guy in that regard. So I think we do get along well in that regard. He'll say, this shouldn't happen because X, Y, and Z. Here's why. And I'll go, okay, yep, you're right. And here's how we fix that. Here's how we get around that. Here's what actually stops that. Here's what's actually pushing that. So yes, I think it does work well. Joseph says, breaking news, criminals don't follow laws. I know. Yes. Big business and government, they are the same, aren't they? They kind of are the same. I think they are. Guys, I'm going to ask you one more time. If you could please click the button known as like, if you would. If you're watching on Twitter, please share this. It really does matter. I know I bug you constantly about it because it does matter. Please do that. Absolutely. So Liberty says, he goes, bro, I felt old in the Army next to 17, 18-year-olds. I wasn't joking. Yes. 21's old. We had a guy who joined, who came in my boot camp. He was like the grand old man. He had been in the Army for several years and he decided to leave and become a Marine. What you don't realize is, if this is something that many of you don't know, if you know this, but if you go to Marine Corps boot camp and you change services, you do not have to go there to boot camp. You don't have to. You just go to the training school. You don't go to boot camp. But you have to go to Marine Corps boot camp to become a Marine. So this guy was in the Army. He'd been in the Army for like 5 or 10 years, whatever it was, and he came to the Marine Corps. He was like 30 in boot camp. When you're 30 in boot camp, you're older than the drill instructors. Like, you're an old man in boot camp at 30. So 21, you were old man. I got 30. He was grandpa. He was absolutely grandpa, 100%. But yeah, one guy I remember who came in, he was like 26 or 25. And again, that was old. Like, man, what are you doing? Absolutely. So I do think that is weird at that age. Anyway, guys, what I want you to do is do me a small favor. All right. When this is over, please come back on, leave a comment. Please do so. If you're watching later on, right afterwards, after this actually gets processed in YouTube, and then when you're done watching it, one of those videos shows up on each side, click one of those videos. Click one of those videos and watch it for a bit. Algorithm loves it. I'll be back on tomorrow at 7. I will see you all.